Yes.
Two things going after canna leaves right now. One of them is snails and slugs. If you look at the leaves and you see little shiny trails on there, that's what the snails and slugs leave behind. If you don't see the shiny trails, what's your last Saturday, will you? Okay, good. That doesn't apply to you. No. Well, maybe no, I'm just going to make it slow down. If you see the shiny trails, it's snails and slugs. If you don't see that, it is probably caterpillars. And there are more different caterpillars chewing on more different things. I've never seen as many of what we commonly call webworms, and I've never seen them hit so many different plants as they are this year. If you are fighting caterpillars, there are two different ways to go after them. Again, I will never ever tell you to just go spray everywhere, because, you know, we've got gorgeous butterflies. Man, we've had beautiful swallowtails and monarchs and fritillaries and all the others. And if we killed out all the caterpillars, we wouldn't have all the gorgeous butterflies. But there are some out there that where the larval state, the worms, do eat an awful lot. And there is a great product that kills caterpillars and nothing else. It's called BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. This is a so-called BT worm killer, and this stuff is just absolutely deadly to caterpillars of all sorts, but it's harmless to people and pets. It's a stomach poison. It affects caterpillars. It doesn't affect anything else. Now, one thing that I will tell you, and I wish I could get them to put it on the bottle, but they haven't yet, if you want to make BT even more effective, put a little bit of molasses with it. When you mix up that sprayer, put a tablespoon or two of molasses in it. Remember we said molasses was a very strong bacterial stimulant. This is a bacteria. Put a little bit of molasses in with it, and it'll probably be about 20 times as effective as if you don't. But this stuff works. Spray your cannas with it or anything else. I sprayed my broccoli and cauliflower day before yesterday with it because the little loopers were just eating the heck out of it.
Can you cut off all of those eaten up leaves?
Yeah.
And then spray it?
I'd spray first. If you want to cut them back and fertilize, the cannas may have time to put on some more foliage. But I would spray it first and wait a few days because, well, you want to kill the caterpillars, not just drive them somewhere else. So I first, and then, you know, get them under control. Now, the spinosad that we talk about for a number of different things, spinosad will kill caterpillars that it comes in contact with. But if you're looking for something that I think is even more effective, it is the BT worm killer. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you
You want to tell us about the mosquito thing.
Tell you about the mosquito thing. Mosquitoes are horrible this year. Two things about mosquitoes. Number one, please do not use DEET-based insect repellents. DEET is a very toxic product. It's a neurotoxin, and especially don't put it on kids. I mean, you can, and it will tell you, if you read the packages, it'll tell you don't put it on kids because it really does mess up your nervous system. I truly believe it's one of the reasons we see so much more ADD and ADHD than we used to. If you want a good non-DEET mosquito repellent, check out the cactus juice. We usually have some of it back here for anybody to use that wants it. Yeah, this is cactus juice. It comes, the lotion form, which is what this is, has an SPF 20 sunscreen in it, which is good, and it is non-DEET based, and it is a very, very effective mosquito repellent. It also comes just a straight repellent in a sort of a little clear spray if you don't want the sunscreen, if you don't want the lotion base to it. If you want to run the mosquitoes out of an area, you guys haven't really been affected too much by mosquitoes today, have you? Haven't seen people slapping and carrying on. It's probably because we sprinkled some of this around yesterday. This is a safe repellent for mosquitoes. It's basically a garlic-based product, and you scatter it around. We actually had an exterminator told us about this. The chem-free guys at ABC Pest and Lawn told us about it, and it will keep the mosquitoes away for up to 30 days. Now, there was a time we took this off of our shelf because they had some contamination problems. They were letting some other stuff get in it that we didn't approve of. Apparently we hurt their sales so badly. No, not really. We don't buy that much of it. But after some severe discussions with them, they cleaned up their act and cleaned up the product a lot. If you're looking for something that you can just sprinkle around your patio, your porch, I mean, it wouldn't be practical to do a whole yard, although this will do up to 4,000 square feet. This is a great way to run the mosquitoes off without posing any threat to you or the kids or anything else.
What's it called?
It's called Dr. T's Mosquito Repelling Granules.
Was there some you couldn't water before or after?
We've not found that it makes a lot of difference. We normally water before just so we can go a few days without having to water, but it's not that critical. But it really does work to repel the mosquitoes. Another thing that has really been showing up, I don't mean to brag, but I got an inch of rain this week up in the hill country. Anybody that's had much moisture has had fire ants. I mean, fire ants are popping up everywhere. Do not use the toxic stuff. The spinosad baits, either this, we like this one, Green Light Fire Ant Control with Conserve. You can also buy it under the Fertilome label, which is Come and Get It. But this is a very effective fire ant killer. Works. I will find that it works overnight. I've never had to apply it, or I've never had to wait more than 24 hours to have the mounds pretty well killed out. But don't go with any of the toxic poisons trying to kill fire ants. This is all you really need.
And what's it called again?
It's called Green Light Fire Ant Control with Curve. Now you can also kill fire ants with things that are based on orange oil. Orange oil is a really wonderful stuff. Orange oil is it's a good solvent, and all it is an oil that is squeezed out of citrus peel. I mean, you take and you really squeeze citrus peel hard. The oil that comes out is called delimonene, and this is what it is orange oil. It's one of the best cleaners I've ever used on my floors, use it to clean countertops and things like that. You probably notice that most of the cleaners that you buy at the grocery store these days, they're acting like they just discovered this wonderful new orange cleaner. Well, they finally found out that adding a little bit of orange oil makes things work more effectively. I just use the straight orange oil. But a couple of things about it. We mix it with vinegar to make the weed killer that works just like Roundup. It softens, it's a solvent, it softens the weeds to the point that the vinegar can then kill them. Malcolm Beck mixes this with molasses, which is a microbial stimulant, and compost tea, which has microbes in it, or actually more of a compost leachate, and uses it as a fire ant killer. You pour it on, the orange softens up the outer shell of the fire ant, then the microbes, which are being multiplied because of they're multiplying because of the molasses, they attack and kill the fire ant. Interesting story there, they used to call it Green Light Fire Ant Control. The government came along and said, you can't call it fire ant control because you haven't spent $400,000 to do all the testing to prove it kills fire ants. So therefore you can't use it. Malcolm said, but watch, you know, fire ants die. They said, well, that's not good enough. You haven't proven it. That'll cost you $400,000. Malcolm said, I don't have $400,000, so they made him take it off the market. But then he came back and said, soil conditioner. They said, well, you can call it soil conditioner, that's fine.